Hi everybody! I'm so excited to introduce Tali. Tali is my friend, Tali Elohev, and she's an amazing realistic painter. And she had a period where she painted water. And I thought, I want to show the world her art. So I would love to hear from you, Tali. I have a few questions. First of all, what was your calling to paint water?
When I returned to live in the Galil I had different periods, but it was about 15 years ago, and I would travel to all these rivers and water sources, and I was awestruck. I was in love. I was really fascinated, and I think everything has its time. So in this time, I was ready to relate to this subject matter, which I think is one of the most challenging ones, because it is water is life, and life is ever changing, and water especially is movement, and it's transparent, so it has so many layers. And what I usually am interested in all my paintings is really the textures and the way the light is reflected and is in dialogue with different textures of nature. This is really what interests me, the light. And painting water is especially challenging in that respect. So I would photograph different places. For instance, this painting, it is really about a relationship that I had with my partner at the time, and I was interested in conveying wetness as opposed to dryness, and all the currents and ripples and connections and ever shimmering waves that happen in between those two elements. And so this is, I think, one of the more abstract ways of relating to water, but I really try to investigate, to explore, to connect to that element that there is no right and wrong there. It's just the way the energy vibrates, really. So, but there are ways that the water behaves that I have investigated and explored, and there are certain ways that water behaves, and it's important for me to connect to it. So in other paintings, for instance, a more calm painting, where the water is more like mirror, where it's reflecting a serene, a safe, and a very intimate space. So that is another way that the water can convey your inner emotions. And again, I think in every painting, because I felt like I wanted to paint a series, and each time it was not enough. I felt I didn't say everything there is to say about the subject. So each one was influenced by a different environment and a different location. And I used to take photographs. I paint from photographs. I want to say something about painting from photographs and not outside. It has something to do with the pleasure of the slow gaze, the long gaze. You look a long time, and you kind of cook. You incubate. It's a process. For me, at least, I'm not an expressionist painter. I'm really understanding the benefits of the long gaze that gives you time to deepen and to go through all the decisions, and then you erase, and then you struggle, and then you feel that it's not good, and and you regret, and you think, wow, I did something great, and then the next morning you come and say, oh, it's horrible. So it's a process. It's a kind of a growing process, and it involves some pain. There is pain in painting. And
Painting.
yeah, I did once a work painting, but it's mostly joy and very different kinds of enjoyment and pleasures that are very gentle and very inward. So, but for me, it always has to do with the looking on the subject matter and trying to completely eliminate myself so that I'm bonding with the thing that I want to paint, that I understand it, I want to connect with it. And especially nature, and pure nature like water is, I mean, what else would we want to connect to? So, for instance, in a different painting, what was interesting for me was the difference between depth and shallowness. So there are stones, and they are in dialogue with the water, and the water lives around them and ripples between them. And then there is depth. And what interested me is that it's the right side and the left side of the brain, in a way, because I didn't really decide or think about it, but I think one part is the rational side and the other part is the subconscious side. And that side is unknown. It's dark and it's like a tunnel. And who knows what is really inside there? So water is, in a way, a reflection of the inner world. And so everything is, the rivers and what we choose to look at is a reflection of what we feel. And for instance, in a different painting, I tried to connect to the softness. And in that one, I had succeeded what to me felt like a bliss moment in making my hand soft enough to imitate the softness of water and the ripples that are really, really gentle. And so I felt like I have somehow succeeded in a human way to imitate the softness of water. And yeah, it's like capturing a moment of an experience. I don't know if it looks like water necessarily, but I have managed to do something with my hand that I didn't do before and never did after. So for me it was fun and success.
Oh, first of all, I love this spiral and all this soft movement of the water. And I'm receiving tips from you already while you're speaking. So one of them was exploring the movement of the hand, the soft movement of the hand, and also the depth and the shallowness. And I can see here that you have like dark next to light,
Mm-hmm.
and here it's dark next to light as well. And the game of light,
Mm-hmm.
the way you play with light. So I'd love to hear if you have more, what was important for you in painting water? Or maybe more tips, or, yeah.
For instance, in that painting, there are vast areas of just light on the water, and then the light breaks into a lot of little lines and little ripples, and it's like two different languages, visual languages. One is of staccato, and one is legato. You know, I'm just borrowing from the music world.
Calmer
and say more nervous,
yes,
or more energetic, because it's really about kind of movement. It's abstract. Water is everything. You can, and I think if you paint just one aspect of water, say it's a really calm lake, and it's like a mirror and it's reflecting. It's interesting to break it with intrusion, with something that will contrast that language and make it more interesting, so that you have a different remark on the subject.
So how do you create the contrast?
By a ripple. You know, if you have a lake, then maybe one I don't know, something falls in the water, or like a piece of wood or a branch, something that will interfere, something that will break the vision into a different vision. So I think it's interesting to always to put a surprise element, an unexpected element. For me, that intrusion, that breakness, I think that's what art is trying to really convey. I mean, we are not, at least I don't feel that anything is whole. Always there is something that, you know, boom, changes, and it really is the way I feel myself. There is always a kind of inner intrusion, and so I'm trying to convey it through everything I paint, really.
Yeah, like in this painting, you have all the darkness of the water, the depth of the water, and then the light floats on the water and undulate, and then there is the spiral on the side. So is this what you mean, intrusion?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I feel that spiral was done after that bliss moment, and it's really not an organic part of that bliss moment, but it is more honest to show all the parts of oneself. You know, you don't just show the calm and the beauty. There are other parts, and they also want to be expressed. Mm-hmm. I think when one paints water, it's important to take photos of a place that you like and that you enjoy looking at, and to an experience that you had there. So you connect not only to the visual outside visualness of the place, but also to the experience that you had there. And again, the long gaze, you connect, you bond, you penetrate that look, and you go inside and you connect to yourself. And that's how the inner treasures come out, I think. Of course, it's also possible to be on spot and to paint in the place, which is amazing experience, but much, much different. It's completely different, because there you are chasing the light, you are chasing the time, everything you look at is different the next second. So,
like Monet used to do.
Yeah, it's very difficult, I think. It's a completely different approach. So your whole response is from your whole attitude is from a response level. You put the paint, you respond, and it's different than when you are in the studio and you have a time. You are in a different time zone, and it's forever. I mean, you are not in a hurry, and you can then delve, you can dive, you can get inner. So it's just two different things, and everyone has to find his own his own method and his own what suits him or her. But the goal really, I think, is first of all to enjoy, and second of all to bring beauty to the world, I think. Mm-hmm. And maybe third or fourth is to have other people say, wow. But it's not the first thing.
Mm-hmm. Wow, thank you so much, Tali. I feel so inspired, and I'm in awe looking at your paintings
Thank
here.
you.
And thank you for the tips. And I hope you too enjoyed. And I will show you more of Tali's paintings later on. Thank you so much, Tali.
Bye.